was his clock started at 10 seconds ago?
Tiles.
No, but he looked at his first tile when his clock was at like 24:50.
Oh, in WESPA, as soon as you see your first tile, the clock has started.
I just need to see it, but I think he hadn't seen it. Or as soon as you draw your first tile, or see it?
Like basically, when it's in your hand out of the bag and you can see it, the clock starts. You don't have to have all 7.
But do you have to have seen it?
I believe so.
Quant versus quant is actually pretty close and interesting.
Yeah. The sim is not so close for some reason. Quanta is like 2% better, which is interesting. I guess H's don't like vowels so much, eh?
Well, H is like parallels, and that's a thing. And you're not going to necessarily be hooking quanta that often.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something that's going to... I mean, you will sometimes, but even if you are, it's not like so much better.
Well, Vint was the best play, leaving ORT. No. Thermals.
It's off to a cracking start.
Mm-hmm.
They're both playing very fast. I would be thinking about these wrecks. I'm not saying, you know, I think I agree like intuitively, but I haven't even really gotten the chance to think about any of them.
Yeah.
We're gonna see another bonus here. Waterlog.
We are.
And the chat spotted it as well. Nice.
Waterlog wouldn't have played if Ganesh played a different bingo. I'm not saying that. Again, I'm not saying that Thermal is wrong. And just if you played Marshall instead, which is reasonable.
Mary Eileen has cleared up the rule about drawing. I remembered it was different. I just couldn't remember how. And she says as soon as the first tile is drawn, you don't have to see it.
Oh, interesting.
So that's what it is.
That's why. That explains it.
It's a challenge.
Oh, what? Oh, no, don't challenge that. Especially because he gives you a bingo. I wonder if he's missed Waterlog. Or we'll eventually find it. That's like a normal word, too.
I imagine they don't need thermal sweaters in Nigeria, so perhaps not so common for them.
Well, it's like an air phenomenon, right? Rising air.
Okay, I guess there's that too.
That's not it.
I mean, you should be thinking about this. Like Vint has a range. Like Vint is definitely a bingo strong range. Thermals is a more open play. Like,
well,
I don't get the point of like.
Oh, I see.
I mean, it's opener. I mean, it's open. It's not as. I'm not saying that. Like, I think I would still go with thermals, but like, it took like 5 seconds.
Yeah, that's fair. The +5 brings thermals to a full 100-point score. And if Lewis Peter doesn't find Waterlog, he's not in good shape.
Yeah, especially since like Quanta is not going to open that easily. There are no alternatives that are even.
Gosh, what is going on? No. Oh.
No, he's thinking about it.
Oh, and Ganesh has another blank. Wow.
So when you're Ganesh and you see something like this, do not look down like that. That's a really good way of getting somebody to stop playing it. You look.
What did he
you,
do?
he went and looked at, like he went and looked at the board and he went and looked down at his score sheet. Don't do that. Like somebody can, if somebody does that immediately, it means that they're looking away from it. Ganesh is instant challenging this if this clock gets pushed instantly. Like it's just obvious. Which I mean, I'm sure he knows it's not a word anyway, but he's given it away that it doesn't work. At least in my mind here. Like whenever somebody instantly like diverts their eyes like that, that is instantly a sign that something is wrong.
Interesting.
People in Scrabble, I feel, don't pay enough attention to like their mannerisms and things like that. If nobody's paying attention, I think it's okay, but sometimes people are paying attention.
And there's the Insta challenge you're talking about.
Yeah, there's the Insta challenge.
Any ideas what he's thinking of?
Dowager, maybe? I don't know.
Kumar, what did you say? Yeah, but it's not a verb. Like, dowager is close?
I hate to do this to Peter, but last time he was on stream, this happened to him too. He doesn't really have the best history on stream. That's probably part of this. This game's over, by the way. This is, I mean, I know it's turn 3, but Ganesh has the blank. He has oak. There is no bingo, but he plays oak. He's gonna bingo before Peter almost all the time here.
Yeah. Oak.
I know it's turn 3, but this is gonna be a 150-point lead. Peter has no option. Ganesh has the blank. That's like the game right there.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So some people were asking how Ganesh is doing this as far as his average and getting so many plus 500 games. Drawing well is part of it, but timing is everything as well. And this game is demonstrating some of that.
Some of it might be mental in terms of like people are a little bit more intimidated, but I don't know if that's the case. But I mean, I know that in some other tournaments that certainly has happened before. It's actually kind of interesting whether you play Oak or Oka here. Do you want that S open or not is kind of the question. I think you want it open. I think you play Oak, but it's kind of unusual to be ahead by 150 points and just leave an S open like that. I don't know. Do you guys have either really like a strong preference either way? I know what Quackle's gonna say. Quackle's definitely gonna like playing Oak, but
we can sim it with an exactly other opera rack of a.
Well, Quackle's obviously gonna like Oak. It's a question of like equity.
Quackle's favorite is actually
question of like
cola. Like notice we've specified this opponent rack of Waterog. And it looks like Cola and Oka. We've only done 200 iterations so far. This computer's quite slow. But
okay.
The major learning is he's not going to lose.
Win percentage is, I mean, yeah, it's...
In the chat, they mentioned that Oak sets up Ga.
Yeah, but I don't mind that.
Equity-wise, Oka seems best.
I think I'm fine with Oak personally. I mean, when you know the rack, you know he's not going to bingo. You know that you're probably going to have one next turn. He's not going to block the S. Why not just leave it?
Yeah.
If things go like really, really south too, like you can still block. I mean, they're...
Yeah, but I guess the one clear thing from this sim is that Oak is not as good as the other choices because of Gaul.
Yeah, I think you're right because of the ORG thing. Yeah.
Cyanide is lined up.
You really do want to play West if possible. You really do want to play these here, just
with Acides
or something like that. It's actually a pretty big difference. It's not going to be reflected in the sim so well, but it's... I know that I said earlier that restriction doesn't matter as much, but Axides restricts the bottom left or the bottom right extremely well.
Yeah.
There's no good way of getting to the bottom right pretty much at all. And the only ways of doing it generally kill the top right, which you don't want to do either. So it's a pretty big difference. Cyanide, I mean, cyanide kills the bottom left, so there's that too, but the bottom left is more open. Not much, actually. But like, there's more immediate like bingo lines. I do think that I prefer a bet in the long run.
Yeah, I agree.
Not likely to matter though. This is actually going to turn out better for him, so maybe you should ignore what I said. But,
what do you mean?
Well, Peter has steroid.
Yeah.
Peter has steroid on his rack, and if you know it's coming down next turn, then sign it better, because steroid opens the quadrant that you're allegedly blocking, at least a little bit. So taking out the bottom left is, in this particular permutation, is better.
One thing about Acides is it put a big X spot that would probably not be blocked ever. Not that 50 points is enough.
50 points is a big deal when you're ahead, though. That's actually like that's a good thing. When you're ahead by this much, that's a good thing.
It's true, I see. Yeah. Is he not?
Like the X, the fact that you're setting up an X if you're in Ganesh's shoes is a good thing. If Peter drops the X, that's perfectly fine. You don't really care. Whereas if Ganesh drops the X from Peter's shoes, that's kind of a disaster.
I see. I may or may not agree. I'm thinking that through.
Peter needs a lot of bet. Both score, do things to the board. If Ganesh has like an awkward rack, then he can just do things that kill the board. Also, like most of the time, that spot's not going to be an X. It's going to be something like an H, or something like that. That's like 28 or something, and that consistency decreases the variance, which in turn helps the person who's leading.
I see. Yeah.
I can tell you're skeptical.
Like, yeah, I'm thinking about those considerations, and also the fact that if you can score 50 points with just 2 letters, that is useful if you're down by a lot. Just to score a lot while keeping turns left. I'm glad that Moses Peter played Theroid. I wonder what he was thinking about. Whenever we get the little beep beep boop sound, it is this huge computer that I guess is Kumar's gaming laptop telling us that it's low on disk space.
The stream consumes a lot of resources.
Yes.
Foodie and Booty both look automatic. I think you should at least think about Noob. I'm not sure I'd necessarily do it, but I think you should be at least thinking about it. Just because of how restrictive it is.
Thinking about what?
Noob across the top of Theroid. It dropped percentage probably over in half. Maybe even in third. It still scores 28. Should at least be thinking about it. I'm not all the way there yet, but this is something that I think is worth not playing instantly. Problem is FIY on this board is kind of a problem.
Yeah.
The chat has suggested possibly just foo underneath of Theroid.
No, I'm not a big fan of that. I know that Ganesh just played it down. But I think Noob is better than every way. I don't really see the point of leaving the E open. I guess the leave's a little bit better, but not a lot. IFY, as bad as it does have Unify at least, but
Yeah.
I mean, it is a better leave. I just don't see the reason to increase.
Yeah, I would play Foodie. I guess the concern is the Z spots it sets up, but it's not. There's tons of ways to score 80, not just that.
I think I would probably agree. I'm not nearly as worried about the scoring spots as you are. I know that I'm just not as worried about them.
Cool. Peter Moses plays Luco. That's looked like a good choice. Papa likes it. Finny is really nice to set up the X.
I like it. It's very clever.
I don't know. I'm not totally convinced yet, but okay. What are you setting up exactly?
Deoxy or something like that.
I think I prefer. I mean, I haven't really gotten to think about it all the way yet, but I think I prefer just playing fixed.
You said you preferred playing what?
Just fix.
I think the other point that was just made is that besides the possibility of deoxy, is you have X'd on the bottom, which he's going to play right now.
Oh.
Scores almost barely more than. Yeah. Oh, these players are playing really fast. It's hard for me to keep up. Like from an analyt's standpoint.
Yeah, but I'm impressed by the speed. I think it's a. I feel like stronger players are able to play faster, and therefore.
That's definitely true.
Oh, look, Cake says, love having Kenji. If only to just outright disagree with anything the two of us say.
I agree. I love that too.
At this score, like, no.
Yeah.
I was gonna say at this score it might be worth considering Trove, but it's not even. Even at this score, it's not worth it.
I mean, yeah, Ganesh is close to having no vowels, so that might almost work. But yeah, it would still only cut the lead in half. That's another
I mean, you
aspect
have
of
to try
playing
something
fast
here.
is good. Not really, because you have 0 winning chance either way, so you don't really have to try anything.
I don't think you have
That's
0 winning chance. I don't think you have a good winning chance, but I think that, like, the problem is that Trove just doesn't, like, he doesn't have an S. Trove just doesn't do very well. I don't know, is there something, like, maybe a little bit more innovative than that? I don't like giving up. Like, I like trying to, like, figure out solutions if they're at all possible or feasible.
That's good. You're a better man than me.
Okay, well, it's starting to become even bleaker.
Nimble will go down shortly, surely.
Well, here's what I'm trying. I put Trove into the sim, and with the opponent's rack of all consonants.
I might actually prefer playing like Fleeny or something like that. I could see playing Fleeny over Nimble here with like an extreme lead. Again, just to like reduce bingos. Like it's not like the extra like 19 is gonna help you so much.
So like even if we do a sim of Trove against a rack of all consonants and no S, it still only wins. Cockle estimates 0.1% of the time.
Yeah, that's 0.1%. 0.1%. That's 1 in 1,000.
That's true. That's true. That's pretty good.
Docksides asks, are these scores correct? Yes, they are.
I really do think that I really think that it's with like 140 point lead or whatever that actually playing something a little bit more defensive is probably like negligibly but still somewhat better. But like I said, I mean, we're splitting hairs here. I don't think it really matters.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that the technical part of me cares about these things.
Mm-hmm. It's good.
It's also worth noting that it's just really useful to be like always thinking about plays that are non-standard. Like it's really easy to develop heuristics that automatically just find like the most obvious like pointsy levy plays.
Mm-hmm.
But at some level that can leave you a little bit robotic, and it can leave you towards missing just way too many options. Like I think that's the biggest problem that a lot of people who are outside of, let's say, the top like 5 players in the world, like what separates them from like everybody else is just the number of points, the number of types of plays that they're generating, and the number of options that they're actually looking at. Because like I just think that it's so valuable to just generate as many different options and as many different like things that you're seeing as humanly possible, because that's just going to give you so many more tools to actually win games.
Yeah.
If you're only looking at like the highest scoring play or the highest like leading play, like you're going to hit a ceiling at some point. You need to be able to like see those things consistently.
Yeah, I totally
And it's
agree.
really easy to just get into like tunnel vision of, these are the plays that score the most points. This is the play that scores the highest, that has the best lead. This is the play that has the best equity, the best valuation. When I'm ahead, I should always be doing something like this. That it can leave you a little bit too robotic and not open to seeing plays that other people would see. That's part of why, Nigel is so successful, is because Nigel sees plays that other people just aren't considering a lot of the time.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. We saw that with his last game when he like Olpe was an example of. I guess in that case, it's being very aware of the specific bag and making the best leave for that bag. But maybe Cade was an example of
mind bending
or something. Yeah. Being open to other non-standard possibilities.
Well,
And you're also right that when you're down by a ton or ahead by a ton, like those kind of perverse situations are good for training off perverse plays. Or perverse is probably the wrong word for that kind of innovative play.
the vast majority of time that anybody who's in the top, let's say 10, makes a play that's unusual, if you sit down and tell yourself, okay, I'm going to figure out how I did this, almost always you can find an explanation.
Mm-hmm.
It may not be something that's obvious, it may not be something you agree with, but you can always find an explanation.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't, you're usually just not looking hard enough. And it may not be intuitive at first. I mean, when you see a play like that on stream, you're going to be like, what the heck is he doing? But, you go down, you look at it, you run numbers, you use, like Jason's doing, you use Quackle, and you find numbers that are be like, okay, what is he thinking? What are the benefits? What are the drawbacks? And either how do I incorporate those benefits or those heuristics into my game, or how do I exploit them by taking advantage of when somebody does something like that? And if you can figure out something consistent that Nigel's doing that's weird and wrong, you too can be the best player in the world.
Yes. Yeah.
Aditya says, spread doesn't matter, right? So why not resign? Actually, spread does matter as the third tiebreaker. So it doesn't matter so much, but it still matters.
So does energy conservation with 45 games.
Yes.
Yeah. Honestly, I would just blitz through this and try to finish the game.
Yeah.
There might be some things. There are some opponents where there might be some things that I'm trying to like. Either there's something that I think I can like exploit, which isn't the case when you're behind this much, where I could possibly win, or there might be like some type of thing where I'm trying to like enforce some sort of behavior, or like monitor some sort of behavior. But those things don't really apply here. I don't think. Maybe they do. I don't know. But I'm that. These two players haven't played a lot and are not going to play a lot in the future. So if that's the case, then there's not really any sort of like metagame implications or anything like that. But from time to time, that does happen.
Ganesh quickly drops Eve, and it's right back onto Moses' clock.
It's worth just for fun on these sorts of situations to like look for like, okay, what are all the 9s that are like possible through AMA, or what are all the like 8s or 9s that are possible through UNI?
Our chat's doing a little bit of that. Reorganize. That would have been nice. Kenji, is there anything through AMA?
Well, it has to hook the D to the. It has to hook like ODE too, which is the problem. There's plenty of stuff that isn't ODE, but
Anything is possible.
like I do think that some of this was like both of the games that I've annotated. I think that like the biggest things that have changed the game are actually in the early game, where I think that people could have done things in the early game that were at least like could have been different, but they've like blitzed through the early game. Like both of them just played like so quickly through the early game in both games, the last two games, and I really think that the game was either won or lost in the early game.
I mean, this game was definitely.
I mean, in this case, it was Stoicher. But, like, you know, I think that. I mean, even in this game, though, like, the decisions weren't even, like, just the early game positions, to me, were, like, by far the most interesting parts of this game. And, you know, they were the only ones that ended up mattering, and they were made so quickly. That I think that maybe having a little bit more of a time management approach. Time management, a lot of people are always just think of in terms of how do I make sure that I have time for the end game. But sometimes time management is also like actually using time in positions that warrant them. And I think that quant and thermals and all these sorts of things, I guess those are plays that Ganesh made and he won the game going away. But I think that all these plays actually do require some consideration. Ganesh actually had the more challenging racks this game, for the most part.
Yeah,
that's actually usually true. That the person who wins the games has the more challenging racks, but I digress.
Maybe. By the time he had challenging racks, he was up by 200.
I think Quant and Thermals and Boo and Cyanid were all challenging racks. And I would have taken more time on all of them. I'm not sure I would have definitely played something different in any of them, but I think in all of those cases it's possible, and I would have to actually go through and think about it.
I see.
Oak was interesting. Oak was a challenging rack. I know to you that these are not challenging racks, but those are the first 5 racks of Ganesh's turn. I could easily make a different case for making a different play in all of them.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, Oak was definitely not ideal. Is now a good time to invite our amazing crew and to see their wonderful faces? Let's get both of them. Who should we start with?
Ooh, you choose.
Aaron, do you want to come visit? We would love to learn more about you.
What?
We're going to take this time to learn more about Aaron. Wait, is that your name?
Yeah, that's my name. Aryan.
Aryan.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi, have a seat.
Okay, thank you.
Tell us how Michael Tang got you involved in this tournament.
I don't know actually. My teacher just, I think Mr. Michael might have talked to my teacher and told us that, we have a big Scrabble competition coming up, so we need a few of the boys to help out, and it might be a good experience for them.
Oh.
So I saw the opportunity, and why not? So I'm here now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool. So you're helping us set up all of the cameras and all of the streaming screens and setting up all the arrangements.
Yeah, it's quite fun. I mean, because I don't actually know much about Scrabble and also about computers, so taking this opportunity really taught me a few things which will definitely be helpful in the future. And just seeing
what are some of those things?
Like the world best players playing and showcasing their talent here excites me, and who knows, I might even play Scrabble from now onwards.
Hey.
Yeah. But don't know. Takes time to be great.
Yes. What are you doing? What are your hobbies if not Scrabble?
I actually watch football a lot. Yeah. And then I watch movies. Yeah.
Nice.
That's basically it so far.
So for football,
yes.
Just because we have an audience that's international, are you talking about American football
Oh,
or football like soccer?
Soccer, yeah.
Okay, just wanted to make sure we clear that up.
Suddenly there's a whole debate coming up all of a sudden.
Depends on what your team is.
Yeah, oh wait. I support Liverpool. Oh, you Liverpool? Oh, nice. Kumar is also Liverpool. Oh no. Oh no, I hope there are no MU fans on the stream. Oh, I should probably leave.
You're probably crying somewhere.
Who's your favorite Scrabble player?
Oh,
Among the
from
ones that
the
you
looks of it,
observed.
I think Will Anderson is pretty good.
Oh.
Hey, another Will Anderson fan.
I think,
Allison, you gotta watch out.
Will Anderson and Ganesh also.
Yeah, he's your hometown hero.
Yeah.
Oh.
So what's the most fun word you've seen so far?
I don't know, man. Wait, on this board or
Any of
throughout?
them. What's one you looked at and was like, wow, that's cool?
Oh my god. Yeah, too cool. There are many too cool words to remember. So
Smorzado was a good one.
yeah, that was good.
It's
Even
the crowd
I think
favorite.
what was it? Zaikai or Zaikai?
Oh, Zaikai.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Japanese.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was quite cool as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, has a fun word, and it was played by Will Anderson.
Oh, that's
Makes
right.
sense.
There's been just sadly a few Malay words played. We had
I think
Kueh.
Kueh was
Yeah.
one, and Durian also.
Oh, who played Durian?
Oh, I forgot, but I think I saw.
You were doing packing earlier before you came.
Cool.
Yeah. No, I think I saw it on the stream. Yeah.
Cool.
Not sure who played that.
What languages do you speak?
I speak Malay,
Yeah.
a bit of Punjabi, Hindi.
Cool.
Yeah, and also English. Yeah.
Cool. Does anybody play Malay Scrabble? Is that a thing? Or is...
I think there is, if I'm not mistaken.
But you've never played it?
Yeah. I played like twice so far. Oh my god, what am I doing on this stream? I think people are gonna kill me. Damn.
So then, just a question before I let you go back.
Okay.
What's the proper way to say thank you? Is it terima kasih? What's
Yeah, it's terima kasih.
okay? I want to make sure I can remember. Is it? Do you say banyak at the end to make it like thank you very much, or how does it go?
Banyak means very much. So basically, it's like terima kasih. But the banyak is not necessary. Like you can just say like terima kasih. It's like terima kasih banyak. That's like you're like really into the terima kasih. Like, oh my god, thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in that case, terima kasih.
And I'll say sama-sama, meaning welcome. So I'll go back to my station.
Awesome.
Yeah.
See you. Thanks.
While you were
And
away,
work.
Ganesh actually
Sorry.
made a pretty interesting play of EA, which is because he wanted to actually avoid playing road on the bottom right on the board because of the possibility of re-overlapping a road. So with E road. So actually, Ganesh sacrificed like a lot of points to just play EA in the top middle of the board for 7, rather than a bunch of plays that scored quite a few more points because he wanted to because there was a Z in the bag, and so plays that would have made road would have been he would have scored like 20 by play road, but it would have been countered by E road. So that was actually kind of interesting.
Oh, interesting. You're saying he could have played like area. Cool.
In the
Yeah, and I
chat,
could encounter by stuff like Zest, things like that.
M-Work mentions that Nigel just beat his opponent 445 to 422, and that was in the process of playing a pedally and heli lift. Nice.
That's Mark Wu. He's Nigel's personal quickler.
Cool.
As in for this tournament.
Moses was actually not that far away from like 9s through EN, making ENT. I mean, it wouldn't have mattered, but
Like what are the options there?
I mean anything that ends in ENT. But like he was 1 letter away from, I would think it was. I don't think he was like fishing for them necessarily, but it is worth noting that he could have been fishing for something. I didn't really get to see too well what he was fishing for necessarily in the pool.
Paco thinks the best endgame line here is Visto from the V. but he's gone with Unipod. Now Cockle recommends Virals, also making ISIT for Ganesh.
Is it? That's a nice Afrikaans. Well, it's English, but it comes from South African English. It's kind of a way of saying really as a response to a question or something you're not sure of.
Is that like in it?
Internet I'm not as familiar with. Not sure how that one works. I know it's a word, but not sure what is meant by it. If Dylan Early is still in the stream, you can attest that is it is used all the time in South Africa.
Really? I guess he's playing Tui, threatening Unipods, but or Dops. Crackle still recommends Virals.
Virals does, yeah.
Lars appears to be 5 points worse than Virals, but it doesn't really matter. The only thing that matters is that we have low disk space.
Moses is actually a very good player. I know it that anybody who's watched the streams may not be able to see it very well, but like I've watched and looked at a number of annotated games he's played off stream, and he's actually very, very good. He does a lot of very complicated things that are, I think, pretty good in general. I just think that he's a much better player off stream than on stream in general, and that's something that I think he'll learn to deal with much better in the future as he gets more and more reps playing on stream.
You're talking about Ganesh?
But no, Moses.
Oh, Moses.
So Cesar asks, how is Ganesh so good? Does anyone know? Has he won a Worlds? No, he has not. But I'm not sure if you're aware, but before Ganesh's return to Scrabble, he was one of the only players, if not the only player, with a long record against Nigel that was positive. So, very strong player. Ooh, we have Ganesh.
Hello. Right.
Big game for you, sir.
Very lucky game. Lucky. Absolutely. I mean, Concha was a great start. Thermals, like, wow. And then he saw Waterlog.
Of course, yeah.
He did, and then but he thought that storage was good, so.
That's a huge swing.
It's a huge swing. It could have gone so many different ways.
No. But then why did you play Oak to give him Gaw?
I mean, I knew that he had Gaw, but I just felt that ADE was the best lead for me.
But you could have played Oka.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's fine. Doesn't matter. You did great.
I think all I just saw was Orc. I was like, okay, let's play Orc, and then that's it. You know, I just kill everything else and then just move on with life. Was there better bingo than Scain it?
We were talking about Acides, the left.
Ah, right, okay.
But the same, very similar.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about you have like 10 games in a row you scored 500?
Yep.
How does that happen? This happens every time.
Well, you know, I've been having. I mean, I think I've been having some good picks for sure. But also, I think my opponents have been making some mistakes here and there as well. I've kind of been able to capitalize. Whenever they make a mistake, it happens. When I make a mistake, they capitalize. So yeah.
Yeah.
But just happy to have 500 games. I think all this morning has been 500 all the way. So
People must be
Nice.
intimidated by you because like they do seem to make mistakes.
yeah.
Like, a lot of it's got to be.
Yeah, I mean, my last game against Akarapol, I started off with Morular, Morular, and then I played Residence as a 9, RV onto the triple basically.
Wow.
Yeah, so back to back, and back to back bingos, really help.
Yeah, that would do it.
Yeah, that would do it. Yeah, basically, So yeah, if those things happen, then things kind of work out quite nicely. Anyway, thank you for having me. I'm gonna get back to the next game and then go ahead and get some lunch.
Do it.
Thank you guys.
Enjoy.
Best of luck.
Thank you.